Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. Music production trends go in circles, while true fans stay loyal to great techniques like primitive hardware-based sampling, Stone Age analog, granular, wavetable, one water please or synth archaeology. They all get their place in the global spotlight every few years. Today we are going to talk about the Philips PMC 100 Composer, and it combines two sound design classics that went through a renaissance over the last few years: FM synthesis and the use of cassette tape. This 1986 proto-groovebox workstation thing with the charm of a Fisher-Price DX7 was sent to me by
Simon the Magpie.
He not only set the bar pretty high when it comes to actual music to come out of this strange little box, he also did some essential research work.
Philips makes vacuum cleaners.
At the first glance, the PMC 100 is, in a very weird way, ticking all the boxes. A torturous to play 80s membrane keyboard, plenty of rubber buttons, and a display that certainly made a few Roland fans jealous. One of the most prominent features is the built-in tape deck, which can be used as a backing track player, mastering device, dictaphone and C64 dataset style storage medium. The synth section is very similar to the two-operator FM engine that can be found on Yamaha's Portasound instruments of yesteryear. It's monophonic, preset only, and one hell of a cheese factory. Slick basses, inevitable bells, steppy but unexpectedly expressive FM constructs, and crude LFO-driven tones. A cheat sheet on the back of the unit guides you through the 100 presets, and there's a sustain pedal-like variation of the envelope called, well, sustain. Philips reserved the other three FM voices for the remarkably complex accompaniment section. All the chords that would get you through the first 48 hours at Berkeley, and chart-ready patterns for genres like March or Latin, based on 15 of the preset sounds. The drum section is limited to basic grooves in the aforementioned genres. I was surprised by the depth of the onboard sequencer. Up to 1999 melody notes can be entered into the machine in step mode. You can set note value, octave, legato, dotted notes, triplets, add a chord to every step, insert rests and breaks, transpose arrangements and even edit them. Real-time mode offers two very peculiar settings and failed 80s buzzwords: gling and super gling, which are two early takes on pitch quantization and keep you from hitting notes that don't fit the backing track. Pro mode lets you play out of scale too. The accompaniment can be thinned out by setting them to very strum or sustained. Every time you turn off the unit, it will suffer from amnesia, but sequencer data can be stored to tape digitally. Additional styles and arrangements were available on music data cassettes. I like the internal microphone, there's a stereo mic input, and the unit is noisy in every single way. Simon the Magpie added a few nice modifications. The on-off switch comes in handy given the nerve-wracking motor noise. And there's a knob for controlling the speed of the tape playback. I haven't told Simon that I broke the tape deck yet. You will hear the very last recording I made in jam number 1. The demo songs are straight bangers. There's no MIDI, CV, gate, sync or other modern shenanigans. I didn't know Philips built a synth either, and PMC 100s are still quite affordable collector's items. The PMC 100 is a weird mix of iconic 80s technologies. Is it just a toy or was it way ahead of its time? You have already heard an overproduced intro tune mockup based on the PMC 100's sound, which is, of course, not authentic. This is. Let's jam to the break I recorded before the tape deck entered Nirvana. Now that's a solid bass, and I didn't know how much I missed cassette tape saturation and pitch artifacts. Most other sounds are very cheesy, but nothing a few FX pedals can't fix. Talking of FX pedals and fixing stuff, the drum sounds of the PMC 100 are very thin. I wanna know if we can find a solution for that. That's certainly beefier than the original, but you wouldn't get a PMC 100 for the groovy drum patterns. It's a pity the sequencer won't communicate with the outside world. Basic FM synthesis was used in many 80s video game soundtracks, and the PMC 100 definitely has an arcade feel to it. Time to embrace it in yet another excuse to make cheesy tracker-style old-school computer game music. Verdict. Like many consumer products from the 80s, the PMC 100 is stylish, innovative and barely usable. Sure, it's nice to have a device for cassette tape experimentation, and there are always some diamonds in the rough when it comes to 2OP FM presets, but both can be had cheaper and more accessible by getting an old Yamaha home keyboard and a Walkman. I do like the internal sequencer though. It's versatile, easy to use, and it would have been a classic with sync and/or MIDI connectivity. All that being said, I understand why people just need to have it. And don't tell the Magpie that I ruined his PMC 100. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and leave a comment what other kind of gear you would like to see and hear on the show.